surprise. In Lethal, Moses drove Woods along the main road to Marshall. To his honor, Woods learned that there were 5 different roads to Marshall. How was he to know which road Bruce was on? So he was relieved when, at the first corner, there was a car parked by the side of the road. "Is that your man?" Moses asked. "Maybe," Woods answered. Moses stopped the Land Rover and Woods jumped out. The car was covered with mud, and as he approached, Woods saw that the driver was sleeping. He went closer. It was Bruce. Woods banged on the window. "Wake up, Bruce, wake up." Bruce opened his eyes sleepily. "Wake up," Woods shut again. Finally, Bruce opened the door. "At last, I thought you would never get here." Woods turned and waved at Moses. "Thanks, Moses, it's the right one." "Good luck, father," Moses called as he drove off. Woods got into the car. "We've got to move fast." Moses said the roads are bad because of the rain. Bruce looked at his watch. 8:30. It took me 2 hours from Matthew yesterday, and I was driving fast. He started the car, a BMW, and got it onto the road. In the first 400 meters, Woods realized he was in the hands of an expert driver. It's no time at all. The BMW passed Moses and drove onto the Marshall. It was 100 kilometers of hilly roads, with the Great Lasso Mountains on their right. When they saw the first building of Marshall, it was 9.56. Bruce kept his eyes on the road and did not reduce his speed. As they approached the center of the town, with its buildings of red stone, Woods saw a man wearing a suit and carrying an umbrella. He might have the information Woods needed. "Excuse me," Woods called, jumping out the car as Bruce stopped. "Can you tell me where the American or British offices are?" The man looked calmly at Woods and then pointed his umbrella. "The British High Commission? It is there on the right." Woods saw the British flag and began to run towards the building. He ran up the steps past a guard who looked at him in surprise. Inside the building, a receptionist sat behind a large desk. "I must see the High Commissioner at once," Woods gasped. She did not move. My name is Donald Woods," he explained. "I am the editor of the South Africa Daily Dispatch." The receptionist looked at him thoughtfully and put her cigarette to her mouth. At last, she picked up the phone. "There's a father downwards, an editor, to see the High Commissioners." "I'm not a father," Woods whispered. "Yes, sir, the daily." She looked up at Woods. "Dispatch," he said softly. "Dispatch," she repeated, and then nodded. "Yes, sir." She carefully put the phone down and turned to Wood. "The High Commissioner is in London, but the acting High Commissioner will see you." She pointed to the door behind her, and Woods hurried to it, and he rushed in. The acting High Commissioner, James Moffat, came across the room to greet him. "I didn't realize you were a president," Moffat exclaimed. "I'm not, but I desperately need to use your phone." Moffat was surprised, but he sensed the oranges. He pointed to the phone on his desk. "Please," he said, We understand you were Betty. I was. Can I phone South Africa direct? Yes, yes. Would you like a cup of tea? Moffat asked kindly. Wood smiled and shook his head. I've come to ask you to let me and my family enter your country, he said as he finished down. Moffat was still rather puzzled, but he bowed. Our pleasure, he responded with a little smile. What time is it? Wood asked, looking at his watch. Moffat glanced at the clock on the wall behind Woods. Just after 10. Woods listened anxiously as the phone at the other hand went on ring. In Tata, Wendy's mother hurried in from the garden to answer the phone. It's all right, dear, she called to her husband. I'll answer it. Yes, hello? Donna, she yelled. At that moment, she heard a car approaching. She looked out of the window and saw the white Mercedes driving out to the house. This is strange. Wendy is just arriving. I'll call her. She went to the open window. Wendy! The phone. Wendy got up of the car and ran toward the house, the children following her. Donald? Wendy's mother said with some concern. You haven't quarreled, have you? She's got all the children with her. No, don't say anything. She's coming now. Wendy came into the room. Little Mary rushed past her, straight into her grandmother's arms. It's Donald, Wendy's mother explained cheerfully. Afraid to pick it up, Wendy started at the phone. Was he lasso, or had he failed to get across? Go on, Mom, Dylan argued. Slowly, Wendy moved to the phone. What's the matter? Wendy's mother asked. Is something wrong? Wendy did not answer. She picked up the phone. Donald? Woods exploded with relief. Wendy, I'm here. Come as quickly as you can. After all he controlled, Wendy finally burst into tears. He's there, she said to Jan and Dylan. He got across. Donald, shall we cross at Tally Bridge? Yes, it is a sleepy little place. I can tell you from Tata. You'll have good roads most of the way, but just hurry. We are on our way. Wendy promised. I love you. I am Prentice. Woods responded. You can't talk to me like that. Hurry. Wendy wiped her tears, smiling. Children, all go to the toilet. Quickly, she ordered. Mom, have you got some fruit we could take? Her mother turned to go to the kitchen. We'll drive you, she called over her shoulder. Chapter 18. James Moffat acted quickly as soon as he understood what Wood's problem was. They would need Lasso's permission to fly out of the country. Chef Johnson, Prime Minister of Lasso, was very courageous in acting independently of South Africa, but his country was dependent on South Africa. Moffat contacted one man who would be sympathetic to a liberal white South African. The man was John, and he agreed to come to the British High Commission. Bruce looked from Woods to Monia, and saw that neither of them was going to begin. They can't stay here, he observed. They would never be safe from the South African police. It was true that the South African government often sent their police into Lesotho. We have hoped to fly to Botswana, Woods added. The sooner the better. Marian frowned and pointed at a map of southern Africa on the wall of the High Commissioner's office. To fly anywhere out of Lesotho, he began. You have to fly 500 kilometers over South Africa, and the South African government demands that all planes leave Lesotho land in South Africa before going on. Woods looked at Moffat. There must be a way. If we flew out anyway, could they force us to land? He asked. Moffat shook his head helplessly. The law is the law. They are not short of planets to force you down, Marian remarked. Woods felt trapped. He had to get Wendy and the children somewhere safe when they arrived. My wife and children will reach Telebridge in a few hours, at least. Can we meet them there? Marian waved toward the window. In the rain, he shook his hand. Impossible, but I will make sure that someone meets them and brings them safely here. It was raining heavily at Telebridge. When his parents drove them the 200 kilometers north through the highway in their van, in case the Mercy caused problems with officials. When they arrived at the bridge, Wendy and the children ran through the rain to the passport building and pushed open the door. Wendy shook and ran from her hair and faced the passport official with the pretense, the confidence. The official shook his head at the crazy things people do. You pick good weather for a holiday, she murmured, pushing a paper at her. Please write your personal details here. You can include the names of all the children if they are under 18. Wendy smiled at him nervously and wrote quickly. You haven't put down your husband's name? Oh, Wendy hesitated. James. Okay, the official write it down for her. And his middle initial, D. Wendy said positively. The official glanced at her passport and handed it back to her. Have a good holiday and try to stay dry. They went out into the rain again. Wendy's mother had found an umbrella in the van and the boys got out. As they began to walk across the bridge, Wendy realized how strange they must look to the police. She glanced back at her parents, standing in the rain next to the van. The light from the passport building threw long shadow across the road. God bless you, her mother called, her voice full of emotion. Finally, the next morning, having heard the news that his wife and children were safely in Lesotho, Woods washed the dye from his hair, bought a new tie, and went with Bruce to the airport. And for a long time they continued to fly in and out of the clouds. At last, they came out into the sun, and Woods knew they must be close to Botswana. Woods looked down at the country below them. Hills, green farms, cattle. It would always be his country. Woods knew that. Even though he knew he might never see it again, he held the patches of in his bag. Woods knew. The Biko had believed that man's mind could be changed, but could they have be changed? before the price became too high, while the cost had already been paid. The inquest had decided that Biko had died after falling down. Mapelang had hanged himself. Many others had died in custody. Trying to change South Africa, that looked a city, Duncan called. Woods looked out of the window. Yes, that it is. Across the river we are safe. And his eyes turned back to that beautiful land of his birth. In his mind, and he heard the crowd of thousands singing that at Biko's funeral, and the plane turned its nose down to the land.